Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor, in the studio, online with Tom Santinello. We are talking NFL Week 6 preview, full preview, fire and ice episode here. And I'm excited because we got a lot of matchups to cover. We talk spreads. We talk who's the winner, potential winner, who's the potential loser. We go through everything you need to know going to NFL Week 6 with a fantasy football spin to it. Welcome to this show online. Tom, what's going on, man?
Going on?
I'm excited, man. Week 6, Week 5 was crazy. My boy, Tannehill, going off. And you got to give credit where credit's due. Tannehill looked good. You got to admit. Give me some credit here.
I'll give you some credit. He looked good. They played well as a team. They just dominated the Bills. And to me, it's more of a Bills flop. But, I mean, Tennessee just dismantled them. Everything from that stiff arm, that Derrick Henry threw Josh Norman, just the first half. They just ran him over. They just beat him up.
He launched them, but in the defense of Norman, I'm not a Norman fan, but his momentum was kind of going in that direction. He tried to strip the ball. So it did look bigger than it was supposed to be. Because again, if you watched that play, Norman's full momentum was going that way. And what Henry did is he kind of grabbed him and pushed him in that direction, which made it look worse than it really was.
Yes. Oh, but that was devastating.
It still was.
And, since they got Josh Norman back, they haven't looked as good, but he's past his prime.
Right.
They were out 3 starters, and you can tell. Listen, Buffalo, we said this last week. I've said it before many times. We don't know who they are. They have a tough schedule coming up. They played a couple patsies, the Jets, the Dolphins, and they did beat the Rams, but they're not proven yet. Where are they? We know they are a playoff team, but are they what they were last year, or are they a little bit better or a lot better? Right now, they're a little bit better in my mind, but this was a big loss for Buffalo. They could have made a statement on national television on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, man, that's where Ryan Tannehill looking like the veteran experience was in there. They had a better running game. They looked good all around, defensively, offensively, right. Looked amazing, man. And the Buffalo just didn't show up. So it was entertaining because, again, I won my fantasy league. Now I'm in this fantasy league, and I had Henry versus Tannehill. I was a Tannehill owner, and I was going to this match. I was a little bit nervous because I thought maybe Henry was going to run for like 1,000 yards or whatever. But it turns out Tannehill pulled through. I won my week, so I got to give a lot of credit to Tannehill. And if you watch my Instagram, I gave a lot of credit to Tannehill, saying I love him. Yes, he's my fantasy man crush. I know you're not a big fan. I know, but credit.
You got a couple of them.
Credit's got to be given where it should be given, and that's where it's got to be given, and it's Mr. Tannehill. So anyway, that's the past. We're going to go into NFL Week 6 preview here. Also, there was some breaking news. Le'Veon Bell released, again, years to wow me, not wow. And I told you, Le'Veon Bell's not that good. He could be a product of that offense. Is there any teams looking at Le'Veon Bell right now, Tom, that we know? Because that is breaking news.
Listen, it's a tough one. I was trying to look. Listen, for a fact, I think so. He's an upgrade over a lot of players. Like, personally, I think if you put him on the Ravens over those 3 guys, they're better, but they're not going to do that. I doubt it. Like, because they like Gus Edwards. They got the rookie Dobbins, and Ingram gets his 10 carries a game.
Right.
I personally think he would be an upgrade on a lot of teams, but I don't think those teams are going to, just change the chemistry and what they got going on. I don't think he wants to go to a team that's winless or, like the Giants or the Lions who have 1 win or the Chargers. Like, I don't think he wants to go to a team on the bottom on the bottom. I think he wants the ball. I think they need to use him as a receiver somewhere. I mean, people say Tampa because they just get everybody. And I guess that's possible. They have a couple running backs injured. I don't know how
they don't need them. They do not need them.
You know what? You're right. I don't think he'd go back to Pittsburgh. They're playing so well without him. I don't think one team that I was looking at, I think Indianapolis, he would be an upgrade over Taylor and help that offense because
I don't think so. I think
he'd be great. Phillip Rivers, doesn't have the weapons downfield. I think he would go to the running back. I think Bell would blow it up there.
I don't know, man. I heard there's a rumor that he might end up on the Bears, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But
okay, the Bears, you're right. I think that's a good fit for him. But I also think Buffalo could use him, especially after last night.
Yeah, I can definitely see him.
Especially in the cold weather. He's had some good games against them in Pittsburgh. Right. At least one good game in the snow that I could remember. But I think Buffalo, the Bears I can see. And then I think I'm not saying he's going to go there, but there's no obvious fit for him.
Right. No, I don't know. And we're going to see if he ends up on another team, not Pittsburgh. We're going to see if he is the real deal. Even if put him on Buffalo. Let's see what he does. But yeah, I think he'd be an upgrade from Singletary. I don't think Singletary is that good. Moss hasn't done much.
Moss, yeah, still hurt, right?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where Le'Veon Bell ends up. Again, I've already offered a charity boxing match against him. We had some back and forth on social media. Now that he's unemployed, or not so much unemployed, but not on a team. Well, technically kind of unemployed, but either way, I'm ready for the charity boxing match. So, Bell, if you're listening, I know you listen to my social media. There you have it.
What about? I mean, I don't see him going to Miami, but they don't have a running back. They're 2-3. They think they could be in the playoff race. I mean, I think they still have Ryan Fitzpatrick, so they won't. But it could be a team that's in that right under 500 in that range.
Yeah,
they could use him.
Could be.
The NFC East. I mean, he'd help anyone except the Cowboys in that division. While the Eagles are, they got Miles Sanders, who's good, but
right.
I don't know. The NFC East is still open besides the Giants. I don't think Washington's going to go anywhere. But
all right, let's move on to the preview. Enough with Le'Veon Bell. Other than if he wants to box me, then we'll talk about him a little bit more. So, all right, let's move on. Preview, guys. We talk spreads. We talk everything. We're going to get to it. Before we do, head on over to manscaped.com. Use promo code ShowerLine. Get your lawnmower 3.0. Also, link below, guys. There's a link below to Flick Chat. Head over to my Instagram at Fantasy Football Counts. There's a link in my bio. Join the live chats on Flick Chat. Also, a link below. You can go directly to my chat room. We talk during games. Direct access to me. It's free, guys. It's free. Absolutely. There's no trick or anything to this. Head on over to Flick Chat. You can download the app and join the fantasy and sports chat room. That's where we are in. Or there's a link here below on YouTube or my Instagram bio. And again, manscaped.com. Use promo code ShowerLine. Save some money on your lawnmower to shave those sensitive areas. All right, Tom, let's talk about the Bears and the Panthers. Now, the Bears are actually the underdog here, which is a shock. 4-1 Bears versus the 3-2 Panthers. Bears, obviously, very efficient, getting stuff done, winning games. Montgomery's been stepping it up a little bit, had a little bit of a mini breakout last game. Robinson's been reliable. Foles been efficient. Defense stepping up. And then you got the Panthers, Mike Davis running hard, Robbie Anderson looking like a stud, DJ Moore getting involved, Teddy Bridgewater being efficient. Now, Vegas must know something that we don't because, technically the Bears should be the favorite. I think the Panthers could win this. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the Panthers aren't a good football team still. I mean, I think they, if you look at what they've done so far, they lost their first two against two football teams that are good, the Raiders and the Bucks, and then they beat the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Falcons.
Right.
I know the Cardinals have 3 wins, but they're not really good wins. Maybe San Fran, but they're not playing that well. Falcons, I mean, stink. Chargers have 1 win. So I'm not a buyer, and Carolina has, they don't have a good defense at all. Chicago, I think they keep this game under, 45 points or so. I don't think they can win in a shootout. If Carolina's hot and they hit big plays, they will beat Chicago. That's the only way they'll beat Chicago, if they hit some big plays to Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore down the field. But Chicago's D is going to should shut him down. It's just how many points can Nick Foles, can he score? He only scored 20 points last week. If he can put 20, 30 points up, yeah, I think I'm taking, Chicago in this game. I'm taking the points. I'm taking the money line. Shit, I'm in Chicago.
All right,
they're looking playing better.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago could do it. Defense, I definitely see defense being the factor there, but I'm still sold on Bridgewater. He's getting it done. He's got some weapons. Davis, like I said, stepping up. It's going to be an interesting match.
He does. But he struggles to put points on the board sometimes. I mean, even last week, they only had 23 points. You know what I mean? Like, they're not great.
It's tough. And that's why the spread is so close at Carolina at 2.5. You're almost tempted to take the Bears to cover the 2.5, even though it's not a huge spread.
What would you have thought it would be? Like a pick 'em?
Yeah, it's tough, man.
I like Chicago. Maybe it's a setup game,
Maybe it is.
Everybody's going to pound Chicago. But people like Carolina because, so maybe, I don't know. I'm just in Chicago. We can go to the next one, though.
All right, let's move on here. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Colts. Now, the Colts being a favorite here. I got them here. I'm seeing them at like 8 points favorite. That's quite a bit, man. I mean, the Bengals could pull off. I think, could be a trap game. I'm not really sold on Phillip Rivers this year, Tom. He's not looking good, not utilizing his weapons. They're still trying to figure out who their running back is. I mean, I think they're a bit of a disaster. Phillip Rivers, again, is just a huge disappointment this year. And again, I'm surprised they've even got 3 wins. But again, the record at 1-3-1 with the Bengals is showing that they are the 8-point underdog. And of course, the Colts being at home. I'm not really excited about this matchup, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mixon and Burrow have a good game. I know Indy's defense has been pretty good, but Burrow's got to make a statement here.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Indianapolis has a really good offensive line, and they have a very good defense. Phillip Rivers, listen, I've been saying this since the preseason. You're not going to win games with Phillip Rivers throwing the ball. You need to establish the running game, and he needs to pick and choose his spots and make the big third down completions. The problem is T.Y. Hilton has taken a step back and is not as good, nor nowhere near as good as he used to be. Right. And they don't have any playmakers on their offense either. Anyone that can just take it to the house, anyone that can do the big play. They don't have that. There's been talk in the media in Indianapolis sort of about, hey, are we benching Rivers and going to Brissett, which, I don't think Brissett's the answer either. No. But the problem is Cleveland's also a good football team. I think the Colts are a really good football team, except they lack those playmakers that can really take it to the next level. That's why I said they could benefit from Le'Veon Bell. But, Cleveland has been on a roll. They beat them. Indianapolis, Cincinnati. Listen, I like watching Burrow play. I think he's going to be good. I don't know if they can. I think Indy wins this game. I don't know if they cover the 8 though.
Yeah, it is a big spread. It is. I think Cincy keeps it tighter. All right, moving on here. The Lions and Jacksonville Jaguars. Your guy Minshew. Now, in regards to this match, man. When you look at the records, it doesn't look appealing. 1-3 Lions. You've got Jacksonville 1-4. You got the spread at 3.5 for the Lions. I kind of understand that. I think the veteran experience of Stafford, Galladay healthy. You got a bit of more of a veteran team there. I think defensively maybe a little bit better. What are your thoughts on this game? Minshew, is he going to get it done at home?
This sucks. This is two teams that desperately need a win. And I think personally, Jaguars can lose a couple more games in a row and make a coaching change and elevate Jay Gruden. I can picture that happening. Much like I've been telling you, Dan Quinn would get fired. I told you that before. Yeah. And I see the same thing happening here if they lose a couple more games. And I'm taking Detroit. I think they're a better football team all around. I agree with you with the veteran experience, the better receiver. But I think they'll win, Detroit under a touchdown. I think it's going to be close to that 3.5 line. I'm just not a fan of them keep playing like these, like Adrian Peterson. I don't think he does anything for that team. I think you just got to go a little faster, give the rookie a chance. You have nothing to lose because Patricia, on the other hand, He loses a couple more. You could see him getting fired, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so nobody's safe. Game. Nobody's safe here, man. It's a big game.
Yeah, with these two teams, it's only a matter of time at losing seasons. Both these coaches may be out. Just a matter of when, not if.
Speaking of losing teams, let's talk about the Falcons and the Vikings here. The Falcons, first of all, let's talk about Dalvin Cook. I told you this guy's going to get injured, and it looked like, what was it? He just caught the ball in the backfield. It was a groin thing. Nothing really, nobody touched him. And then he's on his knees. He's ridiculous. This guy is probably going to miss this week. He's going to probably take a break. Madison's going to come in, tear it up. They're going to go over the bye week. He's probably going to come back the week after that. Listen, I'm not sold on Dalvin Cook at all. He's a product of the offense. We saw Madison come in, do just as good as he did, averaged more yards per carry last game. I don't think Dalvin Cook's that good. He looks good because he's a product of that offense. Now, he's playing the Falcons. Gurley actually is breaking out and looking good. But what is wrong with the Falcons? You've got Julio Jones, who's been banged up. I kind of understand that. But you've got Ridley, you've got Hurst, you've got Ryan, you've got Gurley, you've got all these weapons, and you're not utilizing. I see Brian Hill coming out on early downs. I'm like, just put your best player in. That is Todd Gurley. You haven't won a game. They're sad to watch. I can't watch the Falcons anymore. They're very sad. It's depressing, man, watching all this talent go to waste. What is going on, man?
Well, there's a few things. Let's start off with the Falcons over the Vikings. The Falcons, like I said, there's a few things with them. Number one, Matt Ryan's not as good as people think he is. That's just number one. Number two is the coaching. Okay, they made a lot of coaching changes this week. They fired their head coach. They fired their GM, which I told you would happen and should have happened last year. But also, they didn't fire their OC, Dirk Cutter. I believe he's still calling the plays, which is not good if you're a Falcons fan. He should have went too. But I know you can't just clean house and get rid of every coach during the season. But Todd Gurley, man, I don't know. He looked like, even when he had that touchdown run, I think it was like a 20-yard touchdown run. You saw that, but he didn't turn it on at the end. He doesn't look like he's got his speed.
Right.
But he just doesn't look like it. Right.
Yeah. It's something about him. I don't know what it is. He looks like he's running hard on some plays, but there's something missing.
Something's missing. And maybe, you know what we say when, why doesn't a guy get the ball more? Maybe they're just scared that he, that he can't handle it more, or that he doesn't have, they don't want to hurt him. I don't know what it is over there, but they're not making him the focal point of that offense. Julio Jones obviously was hurt, and, they're probably going to move. Listen, they're 0-5. I don't think they're going to, I think they want to move on from Matt Ryan, but you need a replacement. It depends what pick they get in the draft. I mean, the problem is you can't get rid of Matt Ryan right now because you can't guarantee that you're going to get the number 1 pick and pick the kid from Clemson. So, I mean, but they can probably get a really good draft pick for, Matt Ryan during the season or in the thing. But you got to replace him with somebody, right?
Is it Matt Ryan's fault, though? I mean,
it's always the quarterback's fault. I mean, you have to blame the quarterback in the situation, and you have to blame the coaching. I mean, I blame both. He's not as elite as people think. He's had his run. He won some division titles. He did well, but he's 35 years old too.
Right.
Okay. Just like Drew Brees. He stepped up this week, but he's not what he used to be.
Right.
But he was a lot better than Matt Ryan ever was. Matt Ryan had this really good year. I think it was in whatever. I don't know if it was 15 or 17, whatever year it was. But I mean, the Minnesota Vikings, listen, I told you last week they were going to cover that game, and I thought that would be an upset, and they blew it in the fourth quarter, remember?
Right.
I thought they were really going to upset Seattle, and they probably should have, but they look like shit too. I mean, what do they still have, 1 win to show for all this?
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, Madison played. Listen, Dalvin Cook's a good running back in that system. Madison played well in what he had in 20 carries, 112 yards.
Yeah.
The receivers, I don't know. Their defense is not as good as last year. They lost both their corners, some key players. So this is a game I'm taking the Vikings to pound them. But, coaching change last week in Houston, Romeo Crennel, they came in, they got the win.
He looked good. They look good.
So sometimes it's a spark that you need, but you also got to remember Houston had the worst schedule in the NFL the first 3 weeks and probably 4 weeks. It's not the worst, the hardest.
Right.
So I still don't think Atlanta can come back. I think Minnesota comes and wins this game. That's who I would take.
I mean, are we wasting our time talking about these teams? Because, Falcons aren't coming back and making the playoffs. I mean, Vikings, they might have a chance if they kick it up. But
I mean, remember, there's 7 teams in the playoffs this year. So you might have a 7-9 or an 8-8 team hit it, depending on how the year goes.
It's been a rough start for a lot of teams. And speaking of rough start, let's move on here. By the way, in that matchup, we had the Vikings a 3.5-point favorite. Yeah, I mean, the Falcons could pull up that upset because of the new coaching.
Is it an upset, though?
Not much. Washington football team is the underdog on the road, guys. They are playing the New York Giants. I mean, another disaster. 0-5 Giants. They just can't get it together. Washington 1-4. Who made these matchups? I mean, the 0-4 versus the 0-4, the 1-4. The matchups are terrible.
1-4, yeah. Well, listen, let's start off. Let's not even talk about this game. Let's look at the NFC East first. Cowboys are 2-3. Prescott's gone.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's 1-3-1. Washington's 1-4. The Giants are 0-5. The Giants, I don't think, have a shot at this division. But, I mean, if Andy Dalton come in with the Cowboys, okay, right. That's still the favorite. The Eagles are 1-3-1. Redskins are 1-4. I mean, they're only like 1 win out of first place. The Redskins, not the Redskins, the football team.
Yeah.
Right. So this game means a lot more to Washington. Alex Smith came in, and no matter what you think of the guy, you got to say that was a good moment, right?
Yeah, it was.
Coming in, he looked very rusty. Let's talk football. He looked bad. Ron Rivera said Kyle Allen is his guy. I told you this before. Remember I told you that Haskins would get pulled? Kyle Allen, he traded a 5th rounder for him. Okay. Right. So Kyle Allen is the man. I think he's starting this week. It was a concussion. They said he got cleared to go back in, but they didn't want to hurt him. The Giants played well against Dallas, but Dallas has a horrible defense. I mean, this division's still wide open, right?
Yeah, it is. In regards to this game, I won't be watching it. Let's put it that way. This is not a game I'm going to be watching.
Who do you got?
Man, this is tough. I mean, the Giants are desperate. They're at home. They're favored by 3. How do you even pick a favorite here? Man, I don't know, man. I'm going to go Giants. Giants need to win. I mean, it's inevitable. They got to win. So I'm going to go with the Giants here. All right, Ravens and Eagles. Tom, another one. 4-1, 1-3-1. Carson Wentz is a disaster. He's at home. Ravens should stomp them, but they are an 8-point favorite here. Again, another game I'm not excited about. And I was looking at the matchups this week. There isn't a game there's a couple of games here we're going to get to that I might be excited about. But again, Ravens should just have their way with the Eagles. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, they should, but Eagles also surprised. I mean, they were in the game till the very end against the Steelers until they gave up one of Chase Claypool's 17 touchdowns.
My guy Claypool, by the way, I told everybody, make sure you stash Claypool. He's going to be the one there. He's going to be the one.
They were in the game they were in that game and they came back and they could have, but they just couldn't do it in the fourth.
No,
but the Steelers are a much better team. I mean, the problem is, man, I don't want to call an upset here, but I would take the Eagles to cover.
8 points is a lot. It is a lot of points, and they're at home.
At home, Carson Wentz has a new favorite target.
Yep, Fulgham,
2019 6th-round pick from Old Dominion.
Fulgham.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are competitive in this game. I think they're going to surprise some people. They see the division wide open now. I think your boy Carson Wentz.
Yeah, right. Not my boy.
But the Ravens have a good defense. Can Miles Sanders, they need a running game. Mixon got shut down last week, right? Didn't really get the ball.
Mixon.
We said that was it, right? He got the ball, but he didn't produce, I think, right?
Joe Mixon?
Yeah, Mixon. He got 24 for 59. That's horrible. It's like 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, he sucks. Yeah, but why are we talking about Mixon with the...
Because he played the Ravens defense last week.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're right. I wasn't even thinking that.
They have a very good run defense. So I think this game can the Philadelphia get a little bit of a running game going, then I think Carson Wentz is gonna get some glamour and some guts, some glory, and I think we could see a close game here. I know I might eat my words, but
yeah, I mean,
if they can just get the lead, we can see Lamar can't come back for double from a touchdown or 10 points. So I like to see a competitive game here.
My craziest bold prediction was Ryan Tannehill outproduces Lamar Jackson in fantasy points. And so far, man, Tannehill's looking like the guy. And people thought I was crazy. Everyone's drafting Lamar in the second round of fantasy draft. I'm like, no, chill out. He's going to decline this year. Sure enough. And his knee was a little bummed out, too. So I'm not seeing any big things.
Who did I like? I liked Minshew over Kyler Murray. And
yeah, I'm not sure about the chew. He's doing okay, but nothing phenomenal.
300 last week, a couple touchdowns. I mean, I'm going to look right now. But anyways, in this game, I get what you're saying. This is going to be, I don't know. I mean, everything says go Baltimore, but they seem to have an easy stretch here.
Could be a trap game. This is the trap game of the week, guys.
That's the way I look at it.
Anyway, you could get the spread anyway. All right, so Cleveland, divisional game here. Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. Tom, I'm looking at this matchup. I'm seeing this could actually be a good matchup. Believe it or not, it seems like Baker Mayfield is looking pretty good. He's got a true test this week. It seems like Kareem Hunt has stepped up with the Nick Chubb injury. It seems like Chase Claypool has emerged as the wide receiver one. This is a game I am actually going to be watching, and I can't wait. I'm going to fire up Chase Claypool. Hopefully he has another 4 touchdowns, 3 in the air, 1 on the ground. I'm going to expect, and I think he is as advertised. You usually have guys that have like 1 week wonder games. Claypool, I've been scouting for a long time. The Steelers invested high draft capital. They know how to draft wide receivers. He had that breakout game, and Big Ben likes big targets, and Big Ben throws a lot. There's a lot of signs pointing to Claypool continuing dominating performances. So I'm excited about this game. It's going to be a good one. Steelers 3.5 point favorite. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, listen, I think Claypool has the size, the speed. He's building the rapport. But I told you earlier in the season that the Steelers are going to go to the open man.
Right.
I think different weeks will have different stars at the wide receiver position. Juju, and he was, I don't say he disappeared last week, but he didn't produce last week. And I think different weeks you're going to have different guys that'll get those 100-yard multiple touchdown games. So I wouldn't count, I wouldn't. I'd relax a little bit and let's see if he can do it again. I understand where you're coming from. But I think they're going to spread the ball. The Browns have been surprising. They've been playing. You know what I like about the Browns? They've been playing well as a team.
Right.
And even like you see Odell, he's happy. He used to be a me first type of guy.
Right.
It seems like he's happy when the other guys are scoring touchdowns. They're dancing together. And I know that might not mean nothing, but I've seen a lot of players and I've seen a lot of wide receivers in my day. I've dealt with a lot of them personally. This is a team that's playing as a team, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I agree. They're gelling well. You think there'd be a lot of egos, like Kareem's like, I'm the starter. Nick Chubb's, Landry, like they all get along. That's true.
And now let me tell you something. We said this earlier in the season. You have the Ravens, right? You have the Steelers and you have the Browns. Then you have the Bengals way down here. But so we know the Ravens, we still have, this is the first big division matchup. Okay.
Right.
So is it going to be the Steelers and the Browns, or can the Browns close the gap some more? This is a big game in the division.
It is a huge game, and the Steelers are at home, 3.5-point favorite. And I got to say, man, I got to take the Steelers here. I really do.
Yeah, the Browns, oh, man, I don't know. I want to see the Browns win, 4 in a row? They're 4-1. I know they played a couple patsies early on, but right? I mean, the Browns, they beat the Bengals, the Washington football team. Then the Cowboys, they put up 49. But, after they got dismantled by the Ravens week 1. So you can chalk that up to no preseason and just saying, hey,
right.
Or do you say the Ravens are just that much better than the Browns and the separation is real, kind of like what I just said.
Right.
So this game's going to mean a lot. I don't know, man. They beat the Colts. They beat the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a close game. Steelers almost lost to the Eagles. I think the Browns pull the upset here.
Wow, that's a big call here, man. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that week 1 when they got smashed by Baltimore was like 38-6 or something like that. I don't think the team was gelling. It seems like now they're in a groove. They're gelling. Everything's in sync. And Steelers, I don't know if they've got their footing down yet. I think they figured it out as well. It depends on if Big Ben's going to show up. Which Big Ben are you going to get? I think the Steelers are going to win this, but we're going to have to see. I'll be watching that one for sure. And it's a 1:00 game. And that's what I hate with 1:00 games. It's hard for me to focus and hone in on one game. That is one I'm going to be focused in and honed in on, because I definitely won't be watching the Washington football team play the Giants. That's 100% certain.
They should have a different game every night. Football every night. They should do it every night. I mean, it's awesome. Tuesday night.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was cool.
What'd you think of the Tuesday night football? I like that. That was fun.
There's no Thursday night game this week,
Yeah, I know. Oh, there isn't a Thursday night? They canceled?
Oh, the Bills and Chiefs. Remember, that got moved to Monday night.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that sucks. I thought I was going to get another night of football. I didn't even look at that. Okay. Well, that sucks.
Cool. It's good to have it on. But you know what? It's easier in a way if you're in the business and you got, Sunday and a Monday night game and Thursday, you can't watch football every night. You got other things to do in life. But I mean,
well, you do. I don't. That's all I do. All right.
We got baseball. We got, NBA's finally over, a joke of a season. The NBA played their 60. I mean, the baseball played their 60 game playoffs. I like baseball playoffs, but it's another story for another day.
Well, I don't have all the numbers here, but what I heard was the game with Seattle. I think it was Sunday night? When was that game?
That was a great game. The Vikings.
That game had more views than LeBron James's final, the Heat versus the Lakers game. And I understand why. I mean, you got to understand, football is America's sport. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then you got a lot of people saying it's contributed to politics. A lot of people are turned away because the NBA is heavily pushing the politics.
A lot of things. It was a lot of things. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think the main thing was? It's got to be just NFL being more popular.
No, I think a lot of people don't. First of all, basketball's been on the decline for years. It's not what it used to be. Second of all, I do think that, there is no fans. I don't think that matters. I don't know. I think the matchup wasn't that good. Everybody knew the Lakers would win in the final.
That too.
I think the players and the matchups aren't as good anymore. Like, nobody cares about the James Harden. It's just, and you're right. I think the politics that got into it does affect a part of it. I think it does.
Yeah, I think it was good.
Don't want to admit it, but it does. It definitely does.
It's a good combination of everything you just said, and not only that, it was kind of like this shortened season. The season was cut off, then they came back. They chopped up the teams, saying these are the teams that make it. So a lot of people debate and say that it wasn't even a full season.
I spoke to somebody at ESPN and in the media, a couple people actually. They think it's very, very, they are saying, and I think they're making excuses, a lot of it. Right. They're going up against football. They're going up against baseball. They're going up against all this other stuff, college football, whatever. So I think they're trying to make excuses on that. And I think that could be a part of it too. But listen, if this was Jordan versus Jordan versus Magic, or if this was the Warriors versus the Lakers in the the semifinals, whatever, if it was the conference finals, if it was a better matchup, it would take center stage.
You're right.
The matchup sucked.
Yeah, the matchup sucks. I mean, yeah, the opposition of the Lakers wasn't as huge. You thought it would be domination. But another thing with hockey and basketball, these series is the 7-game series. If you're not really following it, you don't know. Like, I think that there was the Stanley Cup was on. I'm like, okay, I'm like, yeah, somebody won the Stanley Cup. I'm like, I didn't even know. With the Super Bowl, it's an event because it's the one game. Everybody gets together. There's a huge halftime. Like, you know that at the end of that game, you are getting a result. It's not just like, hey, this is game 3. They may win it this week. And that's why I love football so much, because it's so honed in and focused. And that's where the attention is. That one game, and every game matters. And that's why I hate baseball. I got turned off of baseball. I can't watch baseball. There's too many games. I tried fantasy baseball a couple years ago, Tom, and what ended up happening is I got my league, I got excited, I was following the teams, and next thing you know, a day or two goes by, and I realized that, like, there was 3 games that happened. I'm like, oh, whoa, there's a game that day? I'm like, yeah, there's a game every day. I'm like, I can't. There's no way I'm going to sit there and watch 3 hours of baseball every single day. There's no way, and that's another reason why football is way better.
Yeah, you know what? They had 60 games this year instead of 162, so I think that I'm going to wait. I mean, still, you got to put an asterisk next to the title because that's not a full season, but that helped them, I think. You know what I mean? Because it's not a full season, but I like baseball playoffs. I like the Yankees. I watched the playoffs. I was disappointed they lost again. I mean, I'm not going to go into why they lost. I know why they lost, but baseball playoffs, I love. I've always liked them. It's exciting to me. I watched the World Series last year. I watched the playoffs last year. I watched a little bit of the Braves, Dodgers yesterday. I mean, but you're right. The game, not just the season, the game was more than 3 hours. How long was that game yesterday?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh my God,
I can't watch it. Here's when the only time I'll watch baseball if it's Game 7 of the World Series, bottom of the 9th, 2 out. I'll turn it on. I'll turn it on right at the end to watch the climax. But that's it, man. Yeah, I don't care. All right, we got to move on. We got to move on, Tom. Let's get back here to the football here, because we got to get to this. Texans and the Titans here, Week 6. We got the Titans at 3-point favorite. Now, again, but judging by the records here, you would think that it would be a bigger spread. 3-point favorite are the Tennessee Titans. I'm looking at this. I'm seeing that the Tennessee should win this, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think this would be an upset special game. I think the Texans come out and possibly beat the Titans in Week 6. What do you think?
You think so?
I don't see why not.
I think so. You know what? I agree with you. I know there's no line yet. I know I don't care about the line. I think this game is going to be Tennessee. The Vegas still likes Texans. Texans, they put up 30 points last week, but let's not so fast, buddy. That was 17 in the fourth quarter. Okay. So they came through when it mattered. Deshaun Watson finally stepped up. Brandon Cooks finally stepped up. They finally had a little bit better rapport. I'm going Texans. I agree with you. I'm going Texans too. I don't think they have a great defense, which scares me, but I think they're on a little bit of a roll, and I think they will continue that roll. And listen, Texans are 1-0 in the division. They got a chance.
And they're desperate.
Yeah.
And they're desperate. At this point, every game is a must win. They've got some momentum coming in from last week. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing some lines aren't all out yet, but I see them at a 3-point favorite. I think because prior to the show starting today, I didn't see a line. Now I see that the Texans are 3 points. I don't know whether I had to refresh or whatever, but I think Houston's going to keep this tighter than people think. Mind you, Tennessee's at home. They're actually coming out strong as well. But this is one I will be watching as well at 1 o'clock. Let's move on here. Broncos and the Patriots. Patriots 9-point favorite. I don't even know. I'm assuming Cam Newton is back. Will he be back? I think so.
Yeah, pretty sure. He's been fine for a while.
He's got to come back. Okay, so I'm looking at this matchup here. I think Drew Lock should also. I'm hearing he's going to be back. I don't know. Lindsey should be back. Everybody should be at full steam. Mind you, Sutton's still going to be not there. This one's tough. I think 9 points is a lot of points to have here. I don't know, man. This one's going to be an interesting one for sure. It's a lot of points.
The Patriots are coming off what? A couple losses or something? They lost to Seattle. And then they have a couple hard losses. They lost to the Chiefs without the quarterback. So I think the Patriots are a good football team. I think they win this game. I don't know how many points they win by, but you're right. That's a lot of points for me to decide. And they haven't played. They didn't play last week, right?
But they lost the Raiders and the Chiefs. So the past couple of weeks they didn't play last week.
They beat the Raiders.
Did they beat the Raiders?
The Patriots beat the Raiders.
Oh, the Patriots beat the Raiders. My bad. So they lost the Chiefs, but then they beat the Raiders 36-20. My bad. I was looking at the wrong thing.
I think Vegas is going off that game. You know what I mean? With Cam Newton, and they're kind of saying this is the Patriots team we're gonna get. The one that played the Raiders won by 16, and they're probably saying if they had Cam Newton, they probably would have beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs look vulnerable. They almost lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Raiders. They almost lost to the Patriots with their third string quarterback. So
I'm going to give you some basic math here, okay? So did not the Raiders lost to the Chiefs? The Raiders beat the Chiefs, correct?
Yes.
But they lost to the Patriots, okay? So stick with me on the math here. So if Raiders lose to Chiefs, okay, but the Patriots beat the Raiders, that would technically mean that the Patriots are better than the Chiefs, but the Chiefs beat the Patriots. So
the Patriots didn't have Cam Newton.
There you go. There's it. So there you go. So the Patriots, in summary, the Patriots are better than the Chiefs. There you go. So yeah, I think they're going to win this game. They're going to smash the Broncos if Newton's there. That's mathematically and theoretically.
They should.
Theoretically.
But, Denver's, if Drew Lock comes back, I mean, they out Cortland Sutton. I don't know. I think it'll be I think the Patriots should take this game.
Oh, yeah. Winning is no problem. It's just the 9 points I'm concerned about. All right. Another snooze fest here, Tom. Are you ready for this one? 8.5-point favorite, Miami Dolphins over the Jets without the Le'Veon Bell, who hasn't done much anyway. Yeah, man. I mean, the Dolphins look pretty good in some games. They're 2-3. I wouldn't sleep on the Dolphins. 8.5 for a divisional game on a desperate Jet. I mean, again, the Jets are in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes at this point. They want to lose every game. They're not going to lose a potential first overall pick, are they? At this point.
Listen, if there's a guy I dislike more than Tannehill, and I don't dislike him as a person, I'm talking as a player, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. And It sucks because he just had a really good game. He dismantled the 49ers.
Right.
But how can they not win this game?
I can't imagine them losing this game.
I mean, how can they not? How can they lose this game? How can they not win this game? I mean, I just don't. They're going to win this ball game. The Jets are terrible. And, the Jets had a couple chances with Flacco last week. They had a chance to tie it up at 7, bonehead call by Gase. Then they had a chance at the end, and they were down within 7. And Flacco's not horrible. He's a good backup quarterback. That's what he is. He's a backup at this point, right?
Yeah.
He kept them in the game. It's just the team sucks around him. They have no weapons. He did a good job as the backup to keep him in the game. It's just Adam Gase is terrible with the play call, and he doesn't have any weapons. But the Dolphins defense is going to be, is improved from last year. Their offense, as long as Fitzpatrick doesn't make the mistakes, it's just a matter of how much they win by. They're going to, I don't think they'll win by, I don't know. Jets honestly keep getting blown out, so I don't even want to go there.
You got to be wacko if you draft Joe Flacco. All right, let's move on here.
Backup, though. He's a good backup. Keep him in the game, but.
All right, let's move on here. Packers and the Bucs. This is going to be good. I think this is going to be a good game. Packers only a 2-point favorite. You would think that they would be more of a favorite, but obviously Bucs at home. You never know. Aaron Rodgers looking like he's playing with that chip on his shoulder, just like I said prior to the season. I'm not sure if Devontae Adams, he should be back as well. It's going to be a good matchup. Godwin's been banged up. Buccaneers a little bit banged up. I don't know.
Why?
What's that?
Coming off a bye.
Yeah, Packers. Man. This is going to be a good one. I don't know. It's going to be entertaining. 3-2 Bucs. Rodgers versus Brady got some vets going at it. I'll be watching this one. And again, the time of this one's 4:25. I can focus on this game because I certainly won't be watching the Jets and the Dolphins. I won't be watching that. So this is a game that I'm going to be. There's 2 games at 4:00. This is one I'm going to be fully attentive to and watching. I'm excited about this one. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I thought they'd move another game to 4, but I guess not. Listen, this game, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a setup game. It looks like everyone's going to pound the Packers, but I think Tampa Bay comes in and gives the Packers their first loss.
Really?
The Buccaneers coming off a Thursday night game where they, Brady had the little mind lapse.
Yeah.
On fourth down.
Yeah. It's fourth down. It's fourth.
So what happens? I mean, I think Tampa Bay gives them a run. They got a good defense. I mean, but hey, the Packers have been strong every game so far, right?
Yeah. You can't.
So it's a tough one, man.
The thing is, they're bipolar. Like, they're weird because I know they're playing on the road here. So sometimes when they're not Lambeau Field, there's some issues. So I don't know
what happened. They put up 43, 42, 37, 30. But that was the Vikings, 1 win. The Lions, 1 win. The Saints, disappointing season. They have a couple wins. And then the Falcons, 0 wins. So they haven't exactly played the meat and potatoes of the NFL yet.
Right.
Just like I said about the Bills. This is going to be a big test. They got at Tampa, at Houston, who maybe they can get back in the playoff picture with the win. So
yeah, it's going to be a battle.
I'm going Tampa Bay with the 2 points.
I'm liking Tampa Bay as well. Maybe even to win outright on this one and surprise some people.
Take the money line, put your house on it, put your car on it, put your kids on
it. Don't do that. All right.
Put your life on it, put your, whatever you can on it.
Let's move on here.
This is not my lock of the week, my free pick of the week, but I do like Tampa.
I like Tampa this game too. Rams and the 49ers here. This one's interesting here. 49ers, Rams. I mean, I imagine San Francisco a little bit more of a desperate team here. It's a division rivals here. NFC West versus NFC West. 2-3 49ers, 4-1 Rams. Are the Rams really a 4-1 team? I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe. I'm not sold on them.
Well, what's 4-1 team mean to you? Like, what are they going to finish? They're definitely a 10-6 team, an 11-5. I think they're that kind of team. But, you're starting to see the inexperience of Kyle Shanahan. He's pulling quarterbacks. They throw a pick. He's pulling another one. He went to his third stringer. His Mullins, automatically got demoted to third string. Garoppolo, okay, his ankle injury is still bothering him. Why'd you pull him? Was that the reason why you pulled him? I mean, they just got beat the hell up.
I know.
They got beat up, right? Last week by
Dolphins. By Dolphins to boot. Yeah,
that was bad. Shanahan's not looking like this offensive genius people made him out to be. The running game, Mostert, whatever, he is who he is. The defense is out a couple players. I said this. They don't have a go-to guy on offense where they got, besides Kittle, he's a tight end. They don't have that receiver where they can count on that receiver.
No. Not at all.
To me, they don't have that possession guy. Even like years ago, they had a Pierre Garçon who was a shell of him, was better in Washington, but they don't have that guy. They got all these trick plays they're running, these gimmicks, the Deebo Samuel, they're looking for that. Stick to fundamentals, get yourself a go-to receiver one, and that'll be, that will help you in the moving forward. But I'm taking the Rams because the 49ers do not look good.
They look like a disaster. They've been banged up all season to boot. Not a team I'm excited about. And again,
they got Cooper Kupp. They got Robert Woods, not stars, but good players that catch the ball.
Yep.
And their running game's a little iffy.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Akers coming off that rib injury should have played, didn't get as many attempts as I thought. Dale Henderson seems like the guy for now. Until I think they're just trying to work Cam Akers back in because it takes a while to heal from rib injuries. I've had them. It's like a sharp
pain. About Le'Veon Bell over there? But I don't think McVay wants any more stars like that.
No.
I think he'd be good. I think he'd be good on either of these teams, Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know what the hype around Le'Veon Bell is. I think he's kind of boring. Like, he can't do the patient running unless he's got a phenomenal O-line and he's got Antonio Brown down the field to distract the defenses because he had the time to run. His running style needs an Antonio Brown receiver, I think.
Well, I think he needs more of a good line, at least a decent line, and he never had that with the Jets. The Rams and Niners have, a decent line. Right. So, anyways.
All right, let's move on here. Monday night should be a treat. We got two games. We got a 5 o'clock Eastern, Chiefs versus Bills, and Arizona Cardinals versus the Cowboys at 8:15 Eastern. So 2 games. The only game I really care about is the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. So we'll start off with that one here. Chiefs obviously showing that they're human. They're 4-1, losing to the Raiders, and Buffalo Bills also showing that they are human, losing to the Tennessee Titans. So this one, again, I don't see a line for it yet. I would imagine the Chiefs are going to be favorite. How much? I would assume probably 5 points is kind of where I'm kind of would put the line. And they say, like, if you put if you bet on anything, don't look at the line. Create your own line. I heard that once. I don't know if you ever heard that. Create your own line, and then when you see the actual line, go with that pick. So, for example, if I say Chiefs are 5-point favorite, right? And they end up, Bills end up being favorite for some reason, then you got to take the Chiefs, right, to cover the 3 points. Just an example, right? But, what are your thoughts on this one? Is it going to be an
early lines at 3.5?
Oh, you got an early line? Okay.
I think you're right. I think it's going to go up to 5 because I think people are going to pound Kansas City. Coming off a loss, Buffalo showing their true colors, maybe against a good football team. Buffalo showing they don't belong in the elite. I'm taking Kansas City to pound them.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes.
I think pound them, I say between 7 and 14 points. Hey, maybe more. I think Kansas City in this one, they're coming off a loss. They're going to, they expose Josh Norman and his bad cornerback play. There's nothing, I don't want to go too in depth in this game because you're right. It's going to be a game that I want to watch. But this game should have been on Thursday night. It's on Monday at 5.
Right.
I'm going Kansas City. I don't think Josh Allen. I mean, the only way I see Buffalo stays in is that Kansas City's defense isn't that good. And Allen can keep this in a shootout. He can stay in, but at the end of the day, you're looking at Patrick Mahomes winning the game by a touchdown or 2.
Theoretically, the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I want to go off on a tangent with staying on the same game. I wanted to ask you something. Is Pat Mahomes an arrogant prick? Is he too arrogant now? Is the money getting to his head? Because I'll tell you, when he lost that game, he walked out and he didn't shake the hand of Derek Carr. So is he getting a little arrogant? Do you know anything about him? Is he a nice guy? What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, they can't shake hands anymore. Remember, he shook Stephon Gilmore's hand, and Stephon Gilmore tested positive.
Oh, so right.
That's why. No, I think he's a good character person. I don't think any issues with him. He was already a multimillionaire with the first round pick. I'm not worried about him.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering why. Well, not even shake hands, but even just go up to him.
They told him not to. They told him not to because remember Gilmore was positive. And
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't worry about that, Joe. Let me tell you something. Patrick Mahomes. If you can get it at 3 points, take it right now. That's a game. That's my lock of the week.
Wow. But
free money. You just deposit free money in the bank. That's what
All right. I like it. I don't, it's tough. Anything can happen, right? Any given Monday in this case.
Any given football game. I mean, the Jets can, win a game.
I doubt it. All right. Arizona Cardinals versus the Cowboys. Cardinals a 2.5-point favorite simply because I think Dalton is that factor. I'm not excited about this game again. Another one that I will be watching because there's nothing else on. I mean, I don't know, man. I think the Cowboys need to win this. I'm going to go with the slightly more desperate team, the Cowboys. But again, does it come down to Andy Dalton being efficient enough to win this game? And it's the same Andy Dalton that was kind of just above par with the Bengals, but now he's in a new system, new offense, better receivers, better situation, better running back, better O-line. It's I don't know, man. It's tough, but apparently they're saying that he is the guy. Dalton's the guy. They don't want to get another quarterback. They believe in him. I think he'll get it done.
I think he's going to be fine. I think the problem you have in this game is Dallas's defense. Is Kyler Murray going to, go to Hopkins, get a couple touchdowns, 1 or 2 on the ground? I think the problem is how bad is Dallas's defense because they're not that good. They let the Giants throw 30 on their faces, I just don't buy into Dallas's defense, and that's concerning for me because I think Dalton will be fine, and I think they'll win this division with Dalton at the end of the day.
How much worse do you think that Dallas, or actually, that's a good question, the Jets, how much worse do you think the Jets defense is than the Cowboys? Because Cardinals put up 30 points on the Jets last week. Is Dallas that much worse than the Jets, though?
I don't know. It's hard because you got a good football team in Dallas. And also one thing I do want to say, I think you're going to get a little common sense coming into Mike McCarthy, and they're going to go a little heavier on Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's going to be a more balanced football team. I'm not going to say they're a better football team without Prescott, but I think you have a chance for them to be more balanced, efficient, and they won't be able to do those comebacks in those 400 or 500-yard passing performances, but I think they will be a more balanced offense. Now, like you said, will their defense hurt them? They're not going to be able to come from behind because they don't have Prescott.
Right.
So how bad is their defense? Man, I don't know. It looks bad.
It does look bad.
I think it's worse than the Jets at this point because the Jets were in that game against the Cardinals. If they had any type of offense, it would have been, they probably would have won that game.
Right. So, yeah, there you have it. Bye weeks are the Vegas Raiders, Chargers, Saints, and Seahawks all on bye weeks. And that's unfortunate because I really like watching the Raiders every week in Seattle. Very entertaining to watch.
A lot better with Ruggs.
Yeah, Ruggs had that big play, and once he gets the ball, no one's catching up. No one's catching up to him.
He's gonna have those games, 2 catches, 100-something yards, and then he might get 1 for 10. But that's what he's gonna do. He's a big play guy, and Gruden excels when he's got speed on the offense and he's got big playmakers. Right. See, that's what I said. You need playmakers. If they had someone like him in Indianapolis, game changer.
Absolutely. All right, Tom, man, there you have it. The full Week 6 NFL preview. Your matchups, your spreads, your winners, your losers, our open discussion, matchups, everything you guys need here. So smash thumbs up. Let us know what your thoughts on some of the matchups, who you think is going to win. And Tom, any last words to the listeners this week?
No, nothing. Just getting ready for a good week of football.
Tom, you should join us in the Flick chat, man. There's a link below. Make sure you click on it, Tom, and join us in the Flick. I want to see your input in some of these matches because
just shoot me a text. I'll see if I'm available.
There you go. You're the Pat Mahomes. You're not going to handshake anything here at the end. Here.
Patrick. It's Patrick.
It is. They want us.
Pat. It's Patrick.
Patty Mahomes.
Patty.
All right, Tom. Thanks for being here, guys. We are out. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. Week 6 preview. Tom says thank you. We're out.